Hello friends, today this is the second lecture tutorial and it will be dealing with programming in Python and the topic is some basic programming in Python. So my name is Jitesh Kumar Bhatia and I am working as assistant professor in GLU University. So let me start. In the first example, we are going to find the addition of two numbers. So how we are going to write a program in Python for adding two numbers. We will be taking two numbers in two different variables and finally we will be adding those two numbers and we will be showing the output. So let's have a variable say a and store the first number in it. So let us say that a equal to 25. So what a equal to 25 is doing, it is storing 25 value in the variable a. So in the second case, let's have a variable say b and let's store the second number in it. So the code would be somewhat like this, that we are going to write b equal to 27. So the value 27 has got stored in the variable b. Now let's perform addition of these two variables a and b and store it in the third variable say x. So we will be writing x equal to a plus b. What it is actually doing, it is adding the values of a and b and it is then storing the result in the variable x. Now we need to print the result of addition. We know that the addition is stored in variable x. So we need to print the value of x. Now it would be more informative if we write some message like addition equal to before printing the value. So you all know that a print statement helps us in printing a value. So we are writing print and within double quotes we are writing addition equal to. So this will be taken as it is, comma the value of x, because x is not inside double quotes, so it will be printing the value of x. So what would be the output? As you must have identified that the output would be addition equal to 52. So addition equal to as it is has been printed and the value of x is 52 in this case, so 52 will be printed. So I hope this first example is understood by you. Coming to the second example, let us take that we want to find the area and circumference of a circle when the radius of the circle is given as 10. So how we are going to do that? We are going to first take a variable r and storing the radius of it, because we know that the radius we are having is 10. So what we are going to do? We are going to have r equal to 10. So r equal to 10, what it will be doing? It will be storing the value 10 in the variable r. Let's have a variable say a and that stores the calculated area in it. So we all know that the area of of a circle is actually given by pi r square and the value of pi is 3.14 if we are taking up to two decimal places. So how we are going to write it? We are going to write it as a equal to 3.14 multiplied by r multiplied by r. So it will be calculating the value of a by taking a value of r as 10 and the value of a will be stored in the variable a. Now we have to find out the circumference. So let us take a variable c and store the calculated circumference in it. So you all know that circumference formula for a circle is 2 pi r and the value of pi is again taken to be 3.14. So what we are going to write? We are going to write c equal to 2 multiplied by 3.14 into r. Now we have the values of a and c along with us and we need to print these values. So we need to print the value of a and c, but just printing the value of a and c would not help in a better way. We need to give a message as well that this is the value of area and this is the value of circumference. So we are going to write print area equal to comma a. So what it is going to do, it is going to print area equal to as it is and the value of a will be printed that the computer has calculated. Similarly, we will be writing print circumference equal to comma c. So circumference equal to will be printed as it is and the value of c that has been calculated by the program will be printed. So what would be the output? I hope you must have found out, you must have thought, you must have just guessed that the output would be somewhat like this, that area equal to 3.14.0 and circumference would be circumference equal to 62.8. You know that the print statement prints in a different line every time a new print statement gets executed. So we are getting the output in two different lines. So the same value r has been used by two expressions, and it is used to calculate the different values as required by the program. Let us now go for the third example. So the third example says that you have to find the value of a to the power b, and the a and b values are to be assumed by you. So let us say that we are taking a variable a, and then we are storing the base value in it. So let us say that the value of a is taken as 2. So we are going to write a equal to 2 in our program. Similarly, we are taking a variable b to store the exponent value of it. So let us say that I'm writing b equal to 31. So I need to find out 2 to the power 31. Now, to perform the calculation of two variables a is to the power b, we have to just calculate it on the right hand side, and we have to store it in a variable on the left hand side. So let us take the variable as x. So what we are going to write? We are going to write x equal to a double star b. This double star is actually an exponentiation of operator, which actually gives you the value of a to the power b. So a to the power b will be calculated as 2 to the power 31, because the value of a is 2 and the value of b is 31, and the net value, the calculated value, will be stored in the variable x. Now we need to print the value of result. And we know that the result is stored in the variable x. So what we are going to write? We are going to print the value of x. But just printing the value of x would not give me the correct and the informative result. In order to make it more informative, I will be writing 2 raised to the power 31 equal to in double inverted commas, so that in the output part the user may understand what this output is actually related to. So I have written print within inverted comma 2 raised to the power 31 equal to and the value of x. So it would be giving me the output as 2 raised to the power 31 equal to 214,748,3648. So it's simple, as you know, that only a print statement is actually needed, and if you know the operator, what operator you have to use, or the logic that you have to use, you can directly find out the similar problems. Similarly, if I want to find the hypotenuse of a right angled triangle, when the base and height are given, I want to write a program, right? So let us say I'm taking the variable b that will be storing the base value. So let us say the base value is 10, and let me have a variable p that is going to store a perpendicular value. So the perpendicular value is taken as 20, and let us take a variable hyp which will be storing the hypotenuse. And you all know that applying the Pythagoras theorem would help me in finding out the hypotenuse. So hypotenuse is equal to the square root of b square plus p square. So we need to first find the value of b square, then we need to find the value of p square, then we need to add these two values, and then we want to find the square root of it. Because how we are going to find the square root? We know that the square root is same as the power as 1 by 2. So or 1 by 2 can be taken as 0.5. So if we take the calculated value and give its power as 0.5, then also we will be actually calculating the square root. So how we are going to write in our program? We are going to write like this, that p into p plus b into b, this will be calculated first because this is in the bracket, and double star 0.5, it will be actually square rooting the calculated value, and whatever value we are getting, we will be getting in the variable hyp. Now we need to print the value of result, and the result is stored in hyp variable. So we need to print the value of hyp, but hyp alone will not give me the informative result. So in order to make my result more informative, I will be using hypotenuse equal to before printing the result. So I will be writing print hypotenuse equal to the value of hyp. So the output would be, in this case, hypotenuse equal to 22.36, because the value of b and p, when they are 10 and 20 respectively, the hypotenuse calculator would be 22.36. Now coming to the next example, which is an important example as your exams are concerned. It is basically asked in the exams that you have to find the temperature in Celsius and the temperature in Fahrenheit is given. And though it would not be given you the formula, but in this slide I have told you that the formula to be used would be C equal to 5 upon 9 multiplied by F minus 32. So if you are placing the value of F, then you will be getting the value of C. So how we are going to do? We are going to first find the first take a variable say f, and we are going to store the Fahrenheit value in it. So let me take that the Fahrenheit value is 80. So the f equal to 80 I'm writing in my program, and I'm going to now calculate the value of C by using the above formula. So how this has to be written, we are going to write it like this: C equal to pi upon 9 multiplied by f minus 32, and f minus 32 is going to be in bracket because first f minus 32 is going to be calculated, then 5 upon 9 is going to be calculated, and whatever the result of 5 upon 9 is, that is to be multiplied with the value of f minus 32, right? And you know that now the value of C has been calculated, and you need to print the value of C. But before printing the value of C, it would be beneficial or more informative if you are printing temperature equal to, and you are printing degree Celsius after it. So how you are going to do that? I'm going to do that like print, and then within inverted comma I'm writing temperature equal to, which will be printed as it is. The value of C is going to be printed because I'm not written it in double quotes, and then again a comma followed by degree Celsius will be printed as it is. So it will be printing temperature equal to as it is, degree Celsius as it is, but in between it will be printing the value of C. So what would be the output? The output would be temperature equal to 26.667 degrees Celsius. So you can execute this program in Python and you can see that the output is this only. If you have known, if you have understood these five programs, then it would be easier to you to learn the next five programs as well. Like for example, this is a somewhat calculative program. So you have to find the total minutes when the time duration is given in hours and minutes. So you are given that there are these many hours and these many minutes, and you have to tell that what is the total minutes when I'm talking about in minutes only. So let's have a variable say h that will be storing the hours value it. So I'm storing it like h equal to 7. It means in my input part I'm giving 7 hours, followed by m is storing the minutes. So I'm giving as m equal to 38 minutes. So I have 7 hours and 38 minutes. So I want that these 7 hours and 38 minutes should be combinedly written in minutes only. So now I need to do some calculation, and that calculation would be that the value of r will be multiplied by 60 in order to convert it into minute, and then I will be adding the minute value to it, and whatever the result is I will be storing it in some variable. Let us say that variable is t. So how I'm going to write? I'm going to write it like this: that t equal to h into 60 plus m. So it will be calculating the value of t. Now I need to print the value of t. So I'm writing like this: total minutes within double quotes comma t, and the value of t will be calculated. So 7 multiplied by 60 is somewhat 7 6 are 42, so 420, and plus 38 I'm going to do. So you can see that the output would be 458, right? So it's not very difficult if you can understand the operators that we are using. Then this program is just the reverse of the previous program. It finds the hours and minutes when the total minutes are given. So it is quite challenging to find out the hours and minutes when the total minutes are given. So I will be using the logic that I will be dividing the total minutes by 60, and whatever quotient I'm getting, that will be the total hours, and whatever remainder I'm getting, that will be the total minutes. So let's have a variable t that is going to store the total minutes. So let us say that t equal to 567. So I have to find out that how many hours and how many minutes are there in 567 minutes. So let us have a variable say h, and we want to store the calculated hours. So how we are going to calculate the calculated hours? We are going to calculate the hours in such a manner that when we are dividing it by 60, we want the quotient of it. So in order to get the quotient, we have a operator which is double slash, which actually give you the integer value after division, which is actually known as the quotient only. So when I'm writing h equal to t double slash 60, it will be giving me the value of quotient when t is divided by 60. And what I'm going to get when I want to find out the minutes, I want to find out the remainder. So we have an operator say modulus, which is in the form of a percentage sign, and this modulus helps me out in finding the remainder. So when t is divided by 60, the remainder whatever I'm getting is stored in the variable m. Now I have the value of h and m, which are storing the value of hours and minutes respectively. Now I need to print just the values, and it would be beneficial if I'm making it more informative. So I'm writing hours equal to the value of h and minutes equal to the value of m. So what would be the output? The output in this case would be hours equal to 9 and minutes equal to 27. As you can identify, when I'm dividing the value of 567 by 60, I will be getting 9 as the quotient and 27 as the remainder. So this is somewhat some applicable program. It says that a man started his journey of 156 km at 2 p.m. and he maintained an average speed of 20 km per hour. Write a program to find that at what time he will reach the destination. It is somewhat related to Google Map. Like Google Map tells you that you will be able to reach your destination by this time. So I want to make a program in such a manner only. So how I'm going to do that? Going to take a variable say d, which is going to store the total distance. And in this case, the total distance is 156 kilometer. So I've written this thing as d equal to 156. Let's have a variable say s and store the average speed. And because the average speed is 20, so I'm going to write s equal to 20. So s will be storing 20 kilometer per hour. Now I want to find the time. So the formula I'm going to apply for time when the value of distance and the average speed is known is t equal to d upon s. So I will be getting the time in hours because you are a mathematical student, so you can understand that when distance is in kilometer and speed is in kilometer per hour, we are going to get the time in hours, right? And we are going to get the time in hours, but in decimal values. So we need to just convert these values into an integer value first. How I'm going to get the integer value? By getting the total minutes. So the total minute would be whatever the value of t is, I will be multiplying it by 60, I will be getting the total minutes. And now after these total minutes, I will be finding how many hours and how many minutes are there. So as per the previous example, you know that when I divide the total minutes by 60 in integer division part, then I get the value of hours. And when I use modulus operator, I get the minutes, right? So now we need to convert the time duration in minutes, and then we have converted into hours and minutes separately, and then we are adding it to 2 p.m., and then we are getting the value of time at which the person will be reaching his destination. So I'm writing time equal to, it started from 2 p.m., so 2 plus h will be giving me the r value. Colon is used to show the time, and the minute value, because the minute value started from 0 only, right? So what would be the output? In this case, the output would be that the time would be 9:48. Obviously I need to write pm, but I have not written it. You can even write pm as well. So 9:48 would be the time. At what time, at this instance of time, he will be reaching his destination. Let's come about taking input from the user. So in the previous programs, what you saw, it was that every value was given as an input to the variable by the programmer itself. But when we want that the input is to be taken from the user, we are going to use an inbuilt function, which is input function. So how we are going to use an input this input function? We are going to write x equal to input, and if we are not giving any message, any inverted comma string, any string or any value in inverted comma, it is not going to give you any message. It will directly take the input from the user, and that input will be stored in the variable x. Whatever we are giving as an input is stored in the string data type. So this, as I've told you, that there will not be any message before taking the input from the user. And let us say that I'm writing print you entered comma x. So the value of x will be printed, and before that you entered will be printed as it is. So if I execute this code, what will happen? It will not give me any message. It will directly ask the user to give an input. And let us suppose that the user has input GLA. So it will be printing you entered x, GLA. And if you pass some string as an argument, then that particular message will be prompted before taking the input from the user. So you can see that if I'm writing x equal to input and within inverted comma I'm writing enter your university. And so this is actually a message that will be prompted before taking the input from the user. And then I'm writing print you entered comma x. So the output would be similar in the previous case as well. Just the difference would be that it would be writing enter your university before it is taking the input. And let us say the user has entered GLA, so it will be printing the output as you entered GLA. So this input function by default returns a value entered in string, as I have told you. And you can change these values, the input that you have taken, the string value, to a specific integer or float or some data type as well. Like for example, I have taken x equal to input enter a number. So enter a number will be printed before taking the input, and let us say the user enters some number, then that number is actually in the string format. I want that it should be in the integer format. Then this x value is to be given as an argument to a function which is int function. So int function will be converting the data type of value x to the data type integer, and it will be storing it in the variable now. So now I can perform the mathematical operations because the value num is an integer data type. So if I'm writing sqr equal to num into num, so it will be calculating the square value and it will be storing it in the variable sqr. And finally, I'm giving the output as the square of num is sqr. So the output would be, let us say the user enters 9, then it would be printing the square of 9 is 81. Similarly, if we wanted to convert it into float, then we need to have an inbuilt function called float, right? So in the same manner, this area has been calculated for a circle when the radius was entered by the user. So let us say the user has entered 2.3 as the input value. So 2.3 was input in the string, but it was converted into a float value and was stored in the variable r. Then the area was calculated, and the value calculated value was stored in the variable a. And finally, the value of a was getting printed. So the output is the area of the circle is 16.61. Similarly, let's just revise the previous examples, and we will be taking the input from the user. So in order to add two numbers, initially we were giving the value to the variable a and to the variable b. But now we are not giving the value by ourselves, we are asking the user to input the value. And you can see that both the functions, input and the int function, I'm giving in the same line. So it will first be taking the input from the user, and whatever input the user has given, that will be converted into integer and will be stored in the variable a. So the data type of a becomes integer data type, right? Similarly for b as well, I'm asking the user to enter the second number. Whatever the user is entering in the string, that will be converted into integer and it is getting stored in the variable b. And then similarly, you all remember that x equal to a plus b was done, and then addition equal to x is to be written. So how the output would be, it would be first asking enter first number. Let us say the user enters 3, and then it will be asking the user to input the second number. So let us say the user enters 4, then the output would be addition equal to 7. So it's simple to understand. And in the same way, like we did the program for converting Fahrenheit to Celsius, now I want to convert the temperature in Fahrenheit to Celsius as well as Kelvin. So by taking the input from the user, so how I'm going to take, because the temperature can be in float, so I've written f equal to float input enter the t in Fahrenheit. So the user is going to give an input in a float value, in a float value that will be in data type string, that will be converted into float and will be stored in the variable f. And the previous formula c equal to 5 upon 9 into f minus 32 will be converting the f value to the c value, all the Celsius value. And then we know that the Kelvin value we can get by adding 273.15 to the Celsius value. Then we are printing whatever output we actually we actually desire. So we will be getting the output. The output I am leaving for you as an assignment. And this is all from my side. Thank you. Thanks for listening.